Hey, this is Travis with MLC CAD Systems, and I would like to discuss the weldment functionality that can be found inside of SOLIDWORKS. Specifically, I want to talk about what weldments are and why you're going to find them really beneficial in your design process. Weldments are essentially multi-body parts that are created specifically using the structural member feature found in SOLIDWORKS. And this structural member feature can be thought of as a modified sweep operation, where we sweep a predefined profile along a user-defined path. And these predefined profiles are actually profiles stored in a weldment library, and they can be thought of as cross-sections of structural members. So things like square tube, round tube, I-beam, angle iron, any type of profile for a structural member you would buy from a metal supplier can be pulled from this library and swept along any sketch that you create in SOLIDWORKS. So if we take a look at the assembly you see on page, this is a basic skid assembly, and it's got a number of pressure vessels, routed pipe assemblies, and down at the bottom you can actually see that there is a pump housing. And we need to create a structural mount for this pump to sit on, and I'm going to use Weldments to do that. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to lay out a sketch for all of my structural members that are going to make up this pump mount. So I'm going to grab my 2D sketch tools. I'm going to start with a center line because eventually I'm going to mirror these components about the center line. And from here I'm just going to sketch out a line for my cross member, one of my support legs, and then also a foot down at the bottom that will eventually be welded to my skid assembly. And we can define their locations by using standard sketch relationships, or in this case dimensions. And once we've done that, I'm just going to mirror all of these sketch entities about that center line. So we'll select all of these, grab my mirror tool and my center line, and now you can start to see how this is kind of taking shape. So we've got a nice cross member, two support legs, and a sketch for each of our feet. And from here I'm just going to go up to the Weldments tab found on the command manager. I'm going to grab that structural member feature we talked about, and now you can see the weldment profile library that we discussed earlier. So in this case I'm going to start by making the plates that will be the feet for my mount, and I'm going to grab a standard, so inch plates. We'll specify that we want these plates to be a 1/2 inch thick and that we want them to be 3 inches wide. And when I select one of my sketched entities, that 1/2 by 3 inch profile will be swept along that path. So you can see how I can grab both of the sketch lines for my feet and really quickly create these plates. Now let's stop here and talk about why this is so important for your designs. Right off the bat, we're making things much more efficient and much quicker by not having to sketch out these profiles every time we want to create a structural member. We just pull these from the library. We know that all our dimensions are accurate, they're standardized, so we know that our designs are going to be accurate because we don't have to worry about accidentally messing up the dimension on one of these profiles. All of them are going to be the same. Not only that, but we're standardizing our designs, so we know that we're using profiles that we can readily source from different metal suppliers. We know that we're not going to have to worry about lengthy delays trying to find somebody who makes a specific profile that we've used. We can use all of our most commonly used structural member profiles just by grabbing them from the library and making our designs much more efficient. So we've created the feet for our mount. Let's go ahead and create the cross member and both of the vertical legs. I'm going to go back up to that structural member feature. In my library I'm going to navigate to another standard, in this case ANSI inch. I'm going to grab a square tube profile, and for size we'll do 2 by 2 by 1/4 inch wall thickness. And I'll quickly grab these three members, so my vertical leg, my cross member, and my opposite vertical leg, and you can see that SOLIDWORKS just sweeps this profile right along this path. And what's nice is you can also see that it's taking care of my corner treatments. So we've got this nice mitered corner treatment. SOLIDWORKS is trimming these members so we know they're going to fit up. We're able to verify everything in 3D. And the last thing I want to really emphasize is that this part is not actually an assembly or a sub-assembly. It is a multi-body part. So we don't have to define all 6 degrees of freedom for each of these members. Their degrees of freedom are simply restricted by the sketched entities that we create. So it's quite a bit quicker than creating individual parts and trying to make them up in an assembly. For structural mounts like this that are eventually going to be welded and created as one component, it's much easier to use weldments, standardize our designs by using these profiles, and really quickly lay them out and limit their degrees of freedom just using basic sketch geometry. So I hope that you guys check out Weldments. I hope you use them, and I know these are going to make your designs much more efficient. If you guys have any questions, feel free to shoot us an email at solidworksupport@mlc-cad.com. Thanks.